Hello everyone, it's Matthew, aka That Damn M, back with another Phasmophobia video. In this video, I'm going to cover some suggestions from the community that they would like to see in the game in order to make it even more fun than it already is. But before we get to those ideas, let's check out something that has already been confirmed as arriving. In this tweet from the Kinetic Games Twitter account, you can see screenshots from the in-progress development of the prison map. I think it already looks great, and I can't wait to get in there and start investigating. Now, for this video, there are quite a few suggestions to get to, so let's start with map ideas first. First, it was suggested that the game could add an amusement park level, and personally, I think the only way this would be creepy enough to add to the game is if they added some sort of clown aesthetic to the ghost or spirit while it is on this map. You know, if they had like a big red nose and big shoes, that sort of thing. I just think it would be super creepy if you're hanging out by the Ferris wheel and you turn around and there's a clown there, and then, you know, you try to take a picture of it or something and it's gone. That'd be amazing. The next map suggested was a shopping mall, and this would work if the map wasn't too huge. I feel like we already have Asylum, we're going to be getting a mansion, and a shopping mall could be potentially very huge. If you've ever been to an actual mall in America, you know that there's some really large ones out there. Maybe a medium-sized shopping mall could work, because I mean, there are a lot of opportunities for a ghost to mess with you in a location like this. Just imagine if the ghost had access to the PA system, or, you know, let's say you could connect the spirit box to the intercom and you turned the entire location into one giant speaker box. And you hear just like a really loud E, and then just hightail it out of there. The next pair of map suggestions I'm going to lump together because they seem like obvious additions and somewhat go hand in hand, and that's a church location and a cemetery or a graveyard. Now, churches usually have multiple rooms besides the main worship area, and seeing crucifixes flip upside down or other religious items / artifacts move around in such a holy setting would be absolutely creepy as hell, and I am fully on board with this idea. And a lot of times churches actually have a graveyard or a cemetery connected or not very far away, and so investigating a graveyard also sort of seems like a no-brainer, especially for a game like this. Just picture the text on a tombstone changing while you're looking at it. How absolutely terrifying would that be? Other maps suggested by the community include a hospital, a cruise ship, and a lighthouse. And personally, I think that each of these would be great additions to the game because of their uniqueness, and I think it could be a lot of fun if they get added to the game. Now then, let's move on to suggestions that the community thinks would just make the game overall more fun. The first is to make the game scarier. This could be accomplished in various ways, such as pounding or knocking on doors and walls or tables, door handles slowly or rapidly moving, scratching sounds on walls or doors, more just general ambient noise such as dogs growling, you know, neighborhood car or house alarms in the distance, throwing objects at the players, maybe that the ghosts were able to stun them or trip them, that sort of thing. Hunts should be more varied, and even if the ghost finds you, maybe it just wants to mess with you for a while before actually murdering you. How cool would that be? Basically, the game needs to be more dangerous and scary. If you thought the game was scary before, that dial should be cranked up by at least 10. Another idea to improve the game would be to implement some sort of a stamina system. A lot of the game takes place very slowly, and if you're able to sprint for a brief period of time, it would make the game exponentially better. This idea would need to be fleshed out along with better ghost AI, because it would obviously be too easy to escape on some of the smaller maps, but on larger maps it would be an absolute godsend. Navigating Asylum and the eventual mansion map would be a breeze if there was a stamina system in place. But again, how this would work would need to be figured out. Maybe you could sprint only a certain number of times in total, or maybe the cooldown for your sprint is increased the more times you use it, etc., etc. Let us know about the sprint system in the comments below, how you think it should be implemented if the developer decides to move in this direction. Following up on this would be a better implemented sanity meter, and what we mean by that is more ways for the sanity meter to actually have an effect on the game. For example, what if when you had low sanity you started hallucinating and seeing your teammates as ghosts or shadows moving along the walls? This could make things very interesting and also very confusing at the same time. Or possibly, if your sanity is too low, the equipment starts malfunctioning. Spirit box won't turn off, your flashlight keeps flickering, indicating a hunt when there isn't actually a hunt, etc., etc. There are lots of ways that the sanity meter could be implemented and improved upon, and that's something that the community as a whole would like to see. Going along with this idea, there should be new/better death animations. The finger in front of the eyes thing is cool, but there should be a lot more, and they could be completely random, or maybe they're location dependent depending on individual map and or where on the map you are when you get captured. For example, like you are being grabbed and you get killed on top of a table, or your body gets thrown out of a second-story window. That would be intense and scary and an absolute welcome addition to the game. What are some death animations that you guys want to see? Let us know in the comment section. Okay, so let's move on to new equipment/interactions. Someone suggested a thermal imaging camera in our last video, and I like the idea of it, provided that the display doesn't also show the actual temperature, because then the thermometer would be rendered completely useless. But being able to walk around and looking at thermal information would be pretty amazing. I feel like that's kind of standard, and I'm actually very surprised it hasn't been implemented into the game yet. Another person suggested a recon drone, which would make scouting larger maps much easier. This would give the person who's a little bit more timid, who likes to kind of stay in the truck and be sort of the tech person, it would give them more to do, but it would also give opportunity for the ghost to interact with it. Perhaps the drone would get knocked out of the sky or thrown down a set of stairs, that sort of thing. I like the idea of a recon drone for larger maps. Mirrors should actually mirror, and they could show certain ghosts, or going back to when we discussed better implementation of the sanity meter, maybe when your sanity is low, it could cause you to see things in the mirror that aren't really there. I think that'd be a really awesome implementation of mirrors, personally. And now for a suggestion I've seen floating around a few different places. Once you have fully completed an investigation, meaning all objectives are complete, you could unlock a cleansing mission. So for example, an initial team would go in and do the investigation, and then a separate team could go in and actually cleanse the area with equipment like holy water, smudge sticks, sage, a book that you could use to read scripture or Latin, etc. This would give the game more replay value because you can investigate and cleanse the map. You could either make them separate modes to where one team goes in and investigates, a separate team comes in and cleanses, or perhaps maybe it could be, if you wanted to cleanse the map after the investigation, it could be a way to earn more cash. Either way, I think this is a great idea, and I really hope it's something that the developer implements. So those are the suggestions we and the community at large have come up with so far to improve upon the already great foundation of Phasmophobia. Did we miss anything? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Alright, so that's it for now, guys. So until the next video, peace.